everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sally and this is my channel Secret Life of a Seamstress, where I talk all about sewing and making clothes. I hope you're all doing really well today. So today's video is going to be another sewing day. I have a few things that I want to get made for summertime and particularly a summer holiday that I have coming up. So today I am sewing up some new summer pyjamas and I'm going to be using a pattern that's new to me by a pattern company that I absolutely love, and that is Megan Nielsen Patterns. The pattern that I'm going to be sewing up today is this one. It's the Megan Nielsen Reef pyjamas. So I've been wanting for a while a new pair of summer pyjamas, so I thought these ones looked really nice. So these are a camisole and shorts set. The camisole is quite a deep V-neck, but it has quite wide straps to it as well. And if I just put the line drawings in as well so that you can see the detail, but the back has this really interesting crossover yoke detail to it, and I thought that was really lovely, and I felt as though I'd really like to give this pattern a go. So there are two versions of the shorts that you can make as well. There are a straight leg pair of shorts and there's also a high-low pair of shorts with pockets, and the high-low shorts also have a cuff detail to them as well. So it's really good if you want to do any colour blocking or anything like that. So the version that I'm going to be sewing up today is the standard camisole and then the straight leg shorts. So just a nice, simple, elasticated waist pair of straight leg pyjama shorts. I thought that would be a good place to start for my first go at this pattern. So I do have everything cut out already, and the fabric that I'm going to be using today is this really beautiful cotton seersucker fabric that I picked up from Sew Me Sunshine. So this was one of their fabrics that appeared in one of their emails that come round with their new fabrics, and I just couldn't really resist it. I thought it was so pretty. I don't actually often buy cottons. I'm much more of a viscose and a more drapey fabric wearer, but I thought for pyjamas, cotton is often a really nice option because it's nice and breathable. I have made a pair of viscose pyjamas in the past and I did find them quite creasy and that they got quite hot and sweaty as well. So yeah, I'm hoping that this will be a better option for pyjamas. So yeah, a really nice lightweight cotton. It's got a little bit of stretch to it because of the seersucker. But yeah, I just love the colours in this and I love the vintage style ditzy floral print. So I did spend some time yesterday cutting everything out, and I'm glad that I cut out yesterday because this took me far longer to cut out than I thought it was going to, and I think it was just me actually rather than anything to do with the pattern. The two main bodice pieces of the camisole are actually cut on the bias, and the pattern pieces are quite big, so I did have a bit of a fiddle around trying to stop the fabric slipping off the table and get everything in the right place and everything. It just felt like it took me ages to cut everything out, so I'm glad all of that was done yesterday. I did have a little bit of a and ah about what sizes to make with this. So the good thing about making a set like this is obviously that if you are between sizes, you can make a different size for the top and a different size for the bottoms. So I've actually gone for the size 0 for the camisole pattern. So the measurements for a size 0 are bust 32, waist 24, hip 34. So the bust measurement for a size 0 is correct for me, but the waist and hips are actually a good couple of inches smaller than my measurements. But going on the finished garment measurements and the look of the pattern pieces, I think I will be okay just going with the bust measurement. And actually in the finished garment measurements, it only gives you the finished bust measurement. It doesn't give you the waist and hip measurement. But the top does kind of flare out quite a lot at the sides, so I'm hoping there's going to be quite a good amount of ease there, fingers crossed. And then with the shorts, again, I was kind of in between sizes, which was a bit annoying. So I'm really hoping that the size that I've decided to go with will be okay. So I've decided to go for a size 2 for the shorts. So that does put me at a hip measurement of 35 based on their size 2. My hip measurement is actually 36, so I am kind of sizing down. But the finished garment measurements do put the hip measurement at 38.5. So I'm hoping that I'm still going to have a good couple of inches of ease in the shorts. I don't want the shorts to be too big either. So I'm sort of taking a gamble here and hedging my bets and hoping that I've gone for the right size. I have traced out the pattern, so if I do need to alter the size if I make these again and I do need to size up, then I can do that. The other thing I could do is actually just take the seam allowance down slightly. So I think there is a 1.5 centimetre seam allowance included, but I could just go down to a 1 centimetre, and that would give me an extra little bit of room as well. So it's a bit of a gamble really when you're trying to choose your sizes, isn't it? Because I always tend to go more with the finished garment measurements than I do my own body measurements. But obviously, yeah, that is a little bit of a gamble because you're sort of gambling with the amount of ease that the designer is recommending you have. So we shall see. I thought I'd make this video quite nice and relaxed, and I probably won't talk too much throughout it. I'll still catch up now and again like I always do, but I thought you know, I'd try and make it sort of quite nice and relaxing. I know people like to have sew along videos on in the background while they're sewing, so hopefully this will be a nice video to have on if you're doing a little bit of sewing and you just want some sewing company or to have something on in the background. So I'm going to get set up now and get on with my sewing. So that was a lot of sewing and not a lot of talking, but I'm pleased to say that my top is now done. I really enjoyed sewing that up actually. It's such a nice process, really enjoyable, and I loved working with this fabric. So you probably saw my little try on there. I'm really pleased with the sizing on this as well. It fits really nicely sort of under my armholes. There's enough room, like wiggle room for sleeping, I think, but it's not too big either, and I was a little bit worried that it would be a little bit big around the armholes. So that's the V-neck front, and then if I turn it around you can see the crossover back yoke. So yeah, really enjoyable sew. It does get a little bit thick at one point when you're sewing these two yokes together because you're sewing through 4 layers of fabric with the yokes, and then you add a facing on top, so you've got like 5 layers of fabric through there. So the pattern did advise that if everything gets a little bit thick to grade your seams, which I did do as best as I could, but you're always sewing with quite a scant seam allowance. It's only 6mm, so it is a little bit difficult to grade everything. But yeah, really pleased that that's done, and it's only 11:30, so that was a nice, quick and easy sew. But I did have something funny happen while I was doing my front facing. So as I mentioned, I traced everything out, and when I came to attach my front facing to my actual main front bodice piece, I realised that I must have done something a bit funny with the tracing when I was tracing out this facing piece. It was very difficult actually when I was tracing to see and follow my size line, so I was having some difficulty tracing yesterday, which added to the time taken cutting out. But what I must have done is on one sort of armhole and shoulder piece, I've got the right size, and can you see that this size is actually quite a bit bigger than the other half of the facing? So I must have gone off on a tangent there and started tracing out a completely different size. Luckily it was a bigger size rather than anything smaller. So what I needed to do was just amend that while I was attaching the facing, and all I did was just put the fabric together, folded it in half and just trimmed off the excess. So I will need to retrace this pattern piece again. I could actually just do the same thing actually and fold it in half and follow the lines, couldn't I? That seemed to work with the fabric. But yeah, that was quite funny, and I thought I would just share that. So I'm actually onto the shorts now, so I'm really looking forward to giving those a go. So my reef set is all finished. I'm so pleased with how this came together, and it was a very speedy sew. I ended up finishing this in a morning, and I think it took me around 3.5 hours in total. Such a lovely sew, and I really enjoyed taking my time with this. I didn't rush at all, even though it was a speedy sew. I really enjoyed every part of the process, and I forgot to mention actually that I finally got to grips with my rolled hem foot. So I managed to put in a lovely rolled hem on my top. I've tried this foot a few times in the past and not managed to get on with it, so I'm really pleased to have mastered that today. Thank you so much everyone for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and if you have enjoyed this video, please do give it a like. Otherwise, take care everyone, and I'll look forward to seeing you again in my next video. Bye!